that thing I sent you earlier?
What thing?
That article from the Daily Star.
Oh yeah.
It's a newspaper in the UK for anyone who doesn't know. It's about aliens turning a man's wife into a chocolate bar.
No.
No, it's great. I love the Daily Star in its way.
Yeah.
You know, like in Men in Black.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, is it Q? Tommy Lee Jones? Not Q. Let's not go to Q and on. We'll get taken off.
We haven't got time for that.
Oh man.
That's a whole different podcast.
Briefly, I did see that they've made a lot of claims that's going to happen in the next few days.
Have they?
I'd imagine none of it's going to, because none of the Q ever predicts ever does happen.
I don't know much about it, to be fair. Literally, you're the first person who told me about it, and I've started seeing it lately on like different things, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. He goes to the supermarket and he buys like the National Enquirer, the Weekly World News, and he's like, and Will Smith's like, what the hell are you buying those for? Those are trash. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
This is the finest investigative reporting on the planet. I think the Daily Star is falling into that category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just by going, my wife has turned into a chocolate bar.
No one would believe that.
It's so unbelievable. It's believable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then it made it to the front page, is it?
I don't think it was front page, but it was certainly a full page spread.
That's crazy.
You know, it's either a slow news day,
yeah,
which it hasn't been slow news all recently, because we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, there's a ton to talk about. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
We had some time off.
We had a little bit of time off.
We were enjoying Christmas, quotations.
Yeah.
We were just being lazy, really.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
We just couldn't seem to get a time to record, could we?
No.
Considering we live in the same fucking house,
yeah,
we weren't here at the same time.
Yeah. Different time schedules.
And, you know, I sleep a lot.
Yeah. So now we figured we'd really put in 100% effort and just do a random off-the-cuff episode.
Yeah.
Off-the-cuff 3.0.
Yeah.
Because
the one where we don't have to do any work.
It takes zero effort. We've had 3 weeks off, and now we're going to give it everything we've got and do fuck all. Just talk about stuff in the news.
Yeah.
Important stuff. And we're starting off strong.
We're starting strong.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest news for us has been Cobra Kai's third season coming out.
Yeah, that was great, actually.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Genuinely do.
I still can't decide if season 2, like spoilers now, if anyone hasn't watched this, it's your own fault. I can't decide if season 2 end fight in the school is better than the one in Daniel's house.
I think it is, but only because there was a bit more going on.
Yeah.
I think there was more space.
Yeah.
It was a bit more open, whereas the end fight in season 3 was like quite enclosed and there wasn't a lot of room going on.
Yeah.
Whereas in the school fight there was people standing around, wasn't there, getting in the way, and there's more props to use. Maybe.
There was like running and jumping in the season 2 fight. Although in season 3 fight, I really liked how there was like different little team ups.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. And there was like they were like throwing each other and jumping over each other and like teaming up to beat up the guy, and it was pretty cool.
I'm hearing Creasy's backstory and learning why he's such a damaged war veteran psychopath.
It still wasn't enough to justify some of the shit he's done, though, was it really?
No, but I imagine we're going to get more of that.
Yeah.
And that will show obviously why he's gone off the rails.
Will be about, won't it?
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him fighting in US Army tournaments in between killing Viet Cong.
Yeah. Well, that was like a massively successful part of the season, wasn't it, really? A lot of people really liked it. And it was his son as well, wasn't it? The actor's son.
Yeah, playing young Kreese was his son, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. He's quite young, isn't he, for how old his dad is?
His dad's 72?
Yeah. And
so maybe he's like 35, 30. When you're an actor, you can knock kids out at any time because you haven't really got to work, have you?
That's true. Yeah.
You know, you're just like, I'm going away for 3 weeks to film a movie scene of it.
Yeah. We thought he hadn't done a lot like the other two actors.
Yeah.
He has done quite a bit, hasn't he?
Yes.
Nothing massive, but he's had solid work, hasn't he?
He has been in constant work since The Karate Kid, and probably before, yes. Yeah. So you can't argue that. And of course, The Mandalorian returns.
Oh, yeah, season 2.
So we did manage to watch that.
I'm still annoyed with the mouse about that, though. I'm fucking livid. Fucking mouse. I know it sounds like you got a vendetta on this.
You have got a vendetta against the mouse.
But literally, we got like 2 seasons in like 12 months. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, you really enjoyed that, didn't you?" And we're like, "Yeah, it was
great.
Like
that? You like that? They're holding it out. You like that? You want some more? You want some more?
Were like, yeah.
Give me some more. Fuck you.
Yeah. Wait a year.
You're getting a Boba Fett series, and it's like
that's like a year away as well.
And while I have no issue with getting a Boba Fett series, I'd have liked it to have been filmed a bit sooner.
Yeah.
And also, Don't take the Mandalorian away from me.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait like a year for Boba Fett. Boba Fett episode 1 comes out around Christmas time.
Oh, this is the 15th of January. We're recording that. WandaVision has dropped today.
Yeah. Well, they've got to give me something. I'm paying all that money and I'm not getting anything.
They've had 120 of your English pounds.
Yeah.
And to be quite frank, we've watched.
I don't think it cost that much, to be fair.
Was it 60 quid for the year?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, so they've had 120 of your English pounds.
No, it's not been a year yet. We got it in March.
Oh, right. Oh, of course we did. Yeah. Well, they're going to get 120.
It's gone up. It's gone up. It'd be like 80 quid now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to renew it?
Yeah, probably. I
Pay for it monthly?
I'll wait and see what comes out first. If nothing comes out, then I'll wait a couple of months till stuff comes out, and then I'll renew it for the year. Because if all we get is WandaVision, then we don't get anything for 2 months. I'm like, I'll fucking wait then.
But like, am I going to watch The Simpsons?
Watch something else. The Simpsons sucks.
It does not suck.
It's not aged well.
It has aged very well. It's made a lot of predictions that have come true.
But yeah, that's true. That is, we should do a podcast on that. I watched a video on that the other day. Something like 10 times The Simpsons got it right.
Yeah.
They haven't got it right about Trump dying yet, though.
Time yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he dies while he's president. So it's got like 5 days to die.
How do you know he won't die in the inauguration?
Yeah, true.
Actually, let's start with the US election.
Yeah.
All right. So hello, welcome.
I was still ranting about fucking.
Oh,
Disney.
mouse me.
Yeah.
Mouse me. I'm going to dress up as Mickey Mouse and come in.
I'll literally beat the shit out of you with a baseball bat.
Hey, Sean. Oh, that's goofy.
Yeah. Mickey's got like a high of it.
Hey, Sean.
It's more like
it's me, your friend Mickey. Yeah.
It's more like, hey guys, how you doing?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That wasn't bad, that
was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
You spent a lot of time doing that, haven't you? Are you going to dress up as Mickey Mouse, infiltrate Disneyland, and then snap his neck while he sleeps? I'm
like the Joker when he loses his shit. I'm just there like, I fucking hate this mouse, and you just see me slowly put a mouse hat on. And you're like, he is the mouse! Oh, shit! That was a twist!
That was the ultimate twist! Yeah. That he was the mouse all along.
It makes so much sense now. No wonder he has all those millions under his mattress.
That I've been taking from.
Yeah.
You know, nothing personal. It's just falling out, mate.
Literally. Name your sex tape.
No, my life, really. Yeah. My autobiography is falling out.
But yeah, we literally get 2 seasons of Mandalorian in like 12 months. And then they literally, as it ends with a ton of cliffhangers. For anyone who hasn't seen it, there is some really good cliffhangers, which I'm going to tell you now. So like the sword.
Don't go into too much detail.
Yeah, but the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The black lightsaber. Yeah. That's awesome.
She wants that.
Yeah.
Massive cliffhangers. Baby
Yoda. A certain Jedi Master showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That nearly gave me some kind of religious experience.
Yeah. You're like, oh. Go into the light.
Ooh, the Force.
Yeah, that's a religion I can get behind. So yeah, we got that, and then they're just like, right now, wait like a year and a half.
Yeah, for a side character that everyone thought was dead.
Boba Fett in like a year, the end of the year, which don't get me wrong, I'm really looking forward to. He was awesome. He was awesome in the show. But then we got to wait a year for that. Then it'll probably be a year and a half for the Ahsoka spin-off series. So when are we getting Mandalorian? Is that going to be in a year and a half? 2 years?
Yeah.
Just says 2022 sometime.
My God, 2022.
Yeah, sometime. That
could be dead by then.
Yeah, we could all be dead. The way the world's going.
Yeah. Before I said to myself, if there's a fucking nuclear war before the end of Game of Thrones, I'm going to be really pissed off.
Yeah.
Right, because I want to see how that ends.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that bothered. It could have nuked it,
Yeah.
So this is what we got to look at. I mean, it's like, if that fucking season 3 of The Mandalorian doesn't come out, and I'm going to be pissed off, but also if I'm dead.
If there's a nuclear war, you'll be like, no, I need to see Baby Yoda one more time.
Yeah. Oh, man, what if they program the bombs to go off in like a Baby Yoda cloud instead of a mushroom cloud?
How cool would it be if Baby Yoda had like a cowboy hat and he was riding the bomb?
That'd be cute.
That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
Cute as fuck.
You'd be like, you know what? I'm not even mad. Just nuke me. Just nuke me. I'm not even mad.
I'm quite happy seeing this.
You're like, do it, Yoda. Do it, Baby Yoda.
I'm quite happy seeing this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to... Oh, looks like it's hit. Just going to turn away.
There with your phone, taking a photo of it. You're like memories, and then you get erased from the universe.
I'm literally turned to dust.
Yeah, you're like worth it.
Hang on, wouldn't all my flesh get blasted off, and then my skeleton would be dancing a jig on fire for a few seconds?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
because that's Terminator 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, one of the most realistic nuclear blast scenes ever created. They went to actually spoke to people and said, "What happens when a nuclear bomb goes off to people?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, well, this happens."
So did they speak to people that had seen it happen then?
I don't know. Maybe just
from like a safe distance.
Yeah, I'd imagine some kind of scientist.
Somebody else with binoculars, like, wow, man, those guys really got eviscerated. Bit dark of a job, isn't it?
Hey, mate, they used to do all kinds of shit with that.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they used to get. It was Britain. I mean, the Americans had like guys in trenches in the desert going, and they just go, "Don't look at it. Here's some glasses, and hunker down in your trench. We're gonna let that bomb off over there."
I'd be sat there like, well, now I want to look at it.
Now I want to look at it.
Why would you tell me that?
Because you'll have no eyes left.
Yeah.
There'll just be 2 red sockets in your head where they used to be.
I'd just be there and you'd be like, how is it? And I'm like, it was worth it.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah. The last thing I ever saw.
It's just literally seared into my brain. I can't see anything else.
Just like, what's the damage? Like, you're like, well, you have no face, so not too bad. It was worse before.
Oh.
Right, man. Let's get on topic then.
Yeah.
Do the introduction to the show. That was a 10-minute tangent. We went straight into it.
Yeah. Welcome to Devil's Advocate. I'm
Hello.
Ben. And
Imagine
I'm
if you said cutting through the bolt.
You know what? I nearly did.
Did you? I had a feeling like you were kidding.
I nearly did. It literally was like, shit, what show am I doing? Devil's Advocate. Sean's here. Right, there we go.
You were like, is that Mike or is that Sean? How much have I drank?
Well, the answer to that question, as usual, is quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
I did say we're going to start with the US election.
Yeah.
So I suppose it came before chronologically.
Yeah.
The others that we're going to talk
We
about.
spoke about that in the last couple of off the cuffs.
We did. So
it's
obviously
just gone on forever. It
Yeah.
seems like forever.
So we're not going to go into detail about was it rigged, wasn't it rigged.
I feel like
let's agree to disagree.
Yeah, I feel like
there was probably some voter fraud going on, but probably not quite enough.
That was always my argument. Anyways, everyone in the media kept pushing that there's zero voter fraud. Yeah, in every election, there's always voter fraud. Every election.
Anywhere.
Do I think there was more than usual? Yeah, because the best way for voter fraud is through mail-in, and they did like 100 mail-in votes, 100 million or something stupid like that. So the large majority were mail-in.
But we do okay in this country, though. We mail in. There's not really much evidence of voter fraud there.
There is. There's
still a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, people voting for their mums died and they've got the voting thing and they fill it in and send it off.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about swinging an election with that kind of vote.
Yeah, but we never do like 100 million worth of mail-ins, do we? We probably do a couple of 100,000, which is usually
probably a few million across the country, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon so. I'd actually put it as high as about 5 million across the country. Because of the elderly don't really go out, some of the unemployed don't like to go out.
Yeah.
And why? And see, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like the pageantry of going to vote in person. You know, I like going there.
It's more secure as well.
Taking my card.
You visually know where your vote is going because you handed it in. It's not just mailing it and hoping that it gets to the right place.
I fold it
doesn't
over,
get lost.
Put it in the box after making my choice, and then maybe there'll be a Tory there who's standing or a Labour person, and I'll go and heckle them for a bit.
See, that's another problem with mailing, though, is so many of them have to throw out because there's something wrong with the mailing.
Well, that's another thing,
like it gets damaged or it doesn't get mailed properly, and they have to just throw them out.
Yeah.
So that's another issue with mailing. That is my biggest issue, is whether or not you agree if there's fraud or not. There's usually more fraud when you mail in, and also there's a lot of votes that they can't count because of the damages of the votes. And if they don't count them, usually they just throw them out.
Well, that's it. I mean, if it's not like, I don't know how they do it in America. I think it's a signature, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So they've got to have a copy of your signature on file to match it to.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's again my signature's slightly different every time.
Well, that was one of the biggest arguments of the voter fraud is usually they've got, like, on the machines, they've got this voter ID thing where they scan the signatures, which is usually turned up to about 80% verification.
Shouldn't it be on 100% verification?
No, because apparently not everyone's signatures look the same all the time. So as long as it roughly looks okay.
That makes sense. Mine's never 100%.
Apparently 80% is good enough, but apparently a lot of these machines would turn down to like 20 or 30% just because of the sheer volume of them coming through. So they don't have to put them through the machine every time. But then they were arguing that literally they did tons of scans and they pretty much sent everything through.
Oh, right.
So they were like, well, that's obviously an indication that there could be mass voter fraud.
But at the same time, more people are going to mail in this time because...
Is something you could, even
because there's a pandemic on, and America is literally, full of COVID.
Yeah, even if there is 100% true that there was fraud, you could never prove it. You could never prove it because you're dealing with like 100. Was it like 150 million, 160 million votes? Something stupid in total.
Higher than that. I mean, Trump had 74. Didn't Biden get like 77 or 80 81?
80 or 81, yeah, just short of 81, like I think. Yeah.
I mean, those are massive numbers for both. I mean, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't a landslide by any stretch of the imagination. No. Obviously, there was successive recounts in Georgia, because Trump couldn't believe he'd lost it.
Yeah. They did find more votes for him.
They did find more votes.
They never found more votes for Biden, but they found quite a few for Trump in several different counties.
I suppose the thing is, what they should have done is like all the stuff. If there's a backlog of mail-in votes, what's it matter? Just keep feeding them through at the 80% and say, hey, a lot of people mailed in this time, COVID.
Yeah.
And the fact there's always used to be queues at US elections. I have never lined up to vote.
Yeah.
But some people takes them 4 hours to get to vote. You know, why does it take you 4 hours?
The organisation, it was terrible with the US election. I think the problem is, I think the reason why it caused so much issue is because nobody has voted on that sort of scale before, like 100 million votes or whatever. And I think there is a lot of corruption in America in terms of politics,
and most of the Western world.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's worse in like Eastern politics, and in some countries they just rig the elections full stop, and everyone knows it's rigged.
Well, look at Mugabe, Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe, I think he's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Used to get 98% of the vote every time.
It's impossible.
Like, why are you even trying, mate? Just declare yourself dictator and have done with it.
Which clearly means he had rigged voting, because you can't get that. That's impossible.
Or he was the only party.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Because anyone was too afraid to run. Yeah. So I think the problem is, the reason why people have so many issues is because everyone knows that mail voting is easier for fraud.
But it shouldn't be, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's like in this country, it's pretty solid. Yeah. But then again, pardon me, I'm a bit gassy tonight.
It's all that beer.
It's a Coors Light.
Coors Light, yeah.
Coors Light,
yeah. I think the issues is there was just so many irregularities. I mean, they had like all of these sort of these, what do they call it? Different things, the different reasons why there was irregularities.
Yeah.
There was
the
machines, they were lowered down so they would let more votes through, which then you could argue, well, they could have just scanned anything through.
Yeah.
There is also the problem is, if they can't scan it through, it gets sent to a moderator, and the moderator can put in the vote manually and put it in however they want, and nobody watches them when they do that.
Which is
terrible.
Baffling.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Absolutely baffling.
And then there's also, the Republicans also argued, and there is video evidence, that they weren't letting Republican poll watchers in. They were only letting Democrat poll watchers in, and there was like video evidence of them covering the polls with like cardboard and stuff.
Yeah.
So all this, that's a problem because of social media. There was so many of these videos being put out, and they were using it as an excuse of COVID, and maybe it was an excuse of COVID, but they weren't letting the Republicans in. So then obviously you're going to go straight to, is the foul play there? And I do think there was a lot of foul play this time, and I honestly can't see how Biden got like 12 million more votes than Obama.
That is a puzzling one. I think, if I may throw in my political oar here, I think the problem is with someone like Trump.
Yeah.
Is that he's a very decisive and divisive
individual. You either love him or hate him.
You love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more this time, I think maybe a lot more people were just pissed off with him.
Yeah.
And thought, this guy, all right, he might have done I mean, you've shown me lists of good stuff he has done.
Yeah, he's done a lot
for the US and the economy.
Yeah.
But because he's so outspoken, he tends to embarrass the office of the president at times.
Yeah.
And the Twitter and things like that. I mean, that's because he's the first Twitter president.
He's not very regal, is he? He's not very.
And I think people like their president to be more dignified,
not
to insult people, not to do impressions of disabled people.
Yeah. He only did that because he does that with every reporter. So that's another.
Well,
thing
the guy was clearly handicapped, though.
Yeah,
but it's a bit of an iffy thing to do. Maybe he couldn't have done it that time.
I don't think he knew. To be fair,
he was getting led out of his thing. He should have known.
He did it. Apparently, he does. Well, I've seen a video where he does that with every impression of every reporter.
Or maybe he just does that now because that was the first time. Either way, we're getting bogged down in semantics.
But no, he does do that for everyone. I watched a video on it because everyone was going, "Oh, that's awful. He did that." And then I watched a video, and there's like years of him doing it. He does it with every reporter. So that's just another way social media is trying to smear him. See, I don't actually think that. I do think there was mass voter fraud. I don't know if it was enough to swing the election.
Because you're still talking.
I think maybe you're looking
at 7 million votes. I think that's a lot to swing it.
I don't think that. I think that maybe it made up 2, maybe 3 million votes. I do think it was mass voter fraud because there's so much. I mean, there's an MIT guy that looked at it and said there's a 68% chance that there was voter fraud based on the 4 machines he looked at. That's a guy that works for MIT, and you could say he's a Trump sympathizer, but he could lose his job for saying that.
Well, not really. He's entitled to a political opinion.
It's not an opinion. He literally took the machine apart.
Oh, right. Can he lose his job for taking the machine apart?
No, he literally. They got the. They went to court to basically say, can we get a specialist to look at this machine?
Oh, right.
And he took it apart, and he said there's like a 68% chance that fraud has occurred during this election based on this. Like the Democrats said that the Dominion machines weren't hooked up to the internet. And then they went and had a look at the machines, and they were hooked up to the internet.
So I think everything is hooked. Every fucking machine nowadays is hooked up to the internet somehow.
And then Dominion said, "Well, they can't be hacked, so it doesn't matter that they're hooked up to the internet." And then during
everything can be hacked.
Yeah, during the legislation meeting where the Republicans were arguing that they could be hacked, and that's how they were changing the votes, they got a hacker in, and it took him like 20 minutes to hack in, and he literally got in. So when they were doing the runoff elections, he was literally hacking in, and he was messing with the votes. So
if a hacker can hack someone's Wi-Fi connected chastity belt,
right,
you
can get in.
You can hack into a fucking governmental voting machine.
Yep.
I mean, obviously the only thing they should just get Apple to do other stuff because they can't get hacked. They got better security.
Yeah, right.
Can't get viruses anyway. Not that much.
So yeah, what I do think there was voter fraud. I don't know if it was enough to swing the election, but I think that social media had more of a influence on swinging the election because the amount of stuff leading up to the election that led to people hating Trump, that was misinformation, like you've just said there. That thing there, he does that. He mocks every reporter that way. It's not just that guy.
But he was going out on the attack, and that's how he does his business.
Yeah.
But he can't. I think what he thought was he could run the country like a business.
Yeah.
And it turns out that you can in some respects.
Yeah.
But when it comes to speaking to the nation, speaking to other diplomats.
Yeah. Some people don't like it.
You can't do that. You've got to play the game a little bit.
And it worked with foreign countries though, to be fair.
I mean North Korea's all of a sudden went, all right, well, I mean, credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Obama wouldn't talk to him.
No.
And he's created 3 peace deals with 3 separate foreign countries that they were at war with. He's pulled all of the soldiers out of those countries. Well, a lot of them.
Some of them. Although he has redeployed some of them to Somalia.
Yeah.
They're getting involved again in Somalia, the Americans. I don't quite know why.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with mining rights.
Could be.
Because
I've not heard that.
When, I'll give you an example, when that there was a massive Ebola outbreak in Central Africa.
Yeah.
I think it was the Congo.
Yeah.
And there's diamond mines, and every country in the world pretty much sent doctors.
Yeah.
I think Cuba sent the most, but 400 doctors.
Yeah.
And the US didn't send that many doctors. But they did send a brigade of troops to guard the diamond mines.
Yeah.
That was under Obama, though, in all fairness.
Yeah.
That wasn't,
it's a shame about Obama. I liked him as a guy, but he was a proper corrupt president, wasn't he? He was a nice guy, and everyone was really happy and excited. Even me, and you said the other day,
people were genuinely crying with emotion seeing this black guy. I mean, Martin Luther King was looking down, going, "Hey!"
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
He
is a cool guy.
MLK would have been president if he hadn't been killed.
Yeah.
They would have had a black president, I don't know, early 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
And he was a cool guy. Obama is a cool guy.
But he is quite corrupt.
He didn't do anything.
No.
He didn't do anything that was any different from the people
before him.
Drone
striked a lot of people.
Apart from drone striking more, but he could argue that Bush didn't have that amount of technology.
Otherwise, he would have drone striked as well.
But I've been listening to a 9/11 thing. I just talked with George W. It is George W., isn't it?
Yeah.
He came in.
You feel sorry for Bush a little bit, don't you?
I do, yeah, because he came into power as a compassionate conservative with a focus on education because he himself was dyslexic. He didn't read that well.
So he was very in the middle then.
So he was like, yes, I guess he was.
Politically.
Obviously, but he's still a conservative, so he's got the
you're going to lean one way, aren't you? Even if you claim you're in the middle, you're going to lean one way.
He ran on a ticket of being compassionate and caring about the education.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he gets 9/11 just thrown at him. Now, whether or not he knew or how much he did know about it, is up for debate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, personally don't think he knew that much about it. I think the guys around him knew a lot more about it than he did, because he had people like Dick Cheney around him, and even his dad told him not to get involved with Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I think that war has always been profitable, and a lot of the Democrats and the Republicans are old money, and they've all got their fingers in the pies, that like investments in military, ammunition, all that. So it's profitable, isn't it? Go to war.
That's it.
Buy our bombs, and we'll blow the shit out of them.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, okay, the US Army.
You didn't really have a choice.
US government's buying our. What could you have done?
No, you had to.
What could you have done? You couldn't have just gone. No. All right, we'll call it a draw.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you've got to. It's America, you've got to strike back. And the same as I expect Britain to do something to strike back. If
they were by far the most powerful country in the world at that point, and somebody just smacked them in the face. Yeah. You can't just stand there.
Well, they Pearl Harbored them again.
They would have looked like a bitch in front of every other country. It would have made them look weak.
So he ended up
had no choice.
He ended up being a war president, which I don't think he wanted to be. He had to embrace it, especially in front of the cameras, because you can't have a guy going, "Oh God, I wish this was over," when you're trying to fight a war.
Yeah. I've said this though a million times to you. You can't be a good president or a good prime minister or a leader of government in your country and be both good for the people that live in your country and also be good to foreign entities,
foreign nations.
Yeah.
Entities. They're not foreigners aren't interdimensional beings, Sean.
I mean,
or made of light.
Well. It doesn't always have to necessarily be countries. Sometimes it's just terrorist organizations. That's why I said entities, because sometimes you don't go to war with the entire country. You can go to you can be peaceful with the country, but be at war with the terrorist organization.
True, but we still went into Afghanistan. But then again, I don't even know if Afghanistan was unified at that time.
Usually we occupied.
Oh no, it was Taliban occupied, wasn't it? So it was the Taliban.
Usually we invade and occupy the country, so we do usually attack everything.
Mainly because them terrorists always hang out where there's oil, don't they?
Yeah.
Strange that.
But yeah, I don't think you can. Usually, you upset one or the other, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't keep everything happy. So like we had this conversation the other day, didn't we? Tony Blair, growing up as a kid, because I was quite young during Tony Blair, and you would have been a teenager?
Yeah, I left school in '99. So Blair came to power in '97.
Yeah, I mean it was good times, wasn't it? And
the economy was booming. We were proud to be British.
He's conservative, isn't he? And
he's a Tory.
Yeah, you're famously Labour.
Tony Blair's a Labour.
He was Labour, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, although he was what they call New Labour.
Yeah. So he was central then, was he?
More central, centre left.
Yeah.
But still, they put a lot of money into the social, the social system. There's the benefits, the child benefits were upped. I mean, for every kid you fucking had at that time, them was only the first two.
Yeah.
And the NHS had a lot more funding. It was in a better state.
Yeah.
The country was in a good place. It was like there's a genuine sense of optimism.
Yeah, everyone was happy. But in terms of foreign countries, he was getting into a lot of wars.
Yeah, well, he was wrong to go into Iraq, but at the same time, he was probably sort of thinking, "Wow, America, we've just got this." UK and US politics, the special relationship is exactly that. It's very special. We seem to follow them into a war blindly, although we never went to Nam.
It's almost like, because obviously America was created due to the English. It's almost like they're kind of like a brother, aren't they? A little bit, I guess, or like a sister. We kind of feel obligated to fight with them.
You say that, but there's a lot of German immigrants in America. In fact, when they founded America, they had to have a vote on what the national language is going to be, and English only just won.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of German immigrants in America, which is why the Brits were like kind of sweating a little bit when it came to World War One, because they were like, well, all right, they're mostly Anglo-Saxon, but a lot of Germans in America.
Yeah.
So they were kind of swaying a little bit at times.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with America, isn't it? It's a culmination of so many
different... a melting pot.
Yeah, it's literally there's so many different ethnicities, cultures, and I mean, we're both history nerds, aren't we? Mm. So we know that the Spanish, the French, the French, they went. That's why you get French Canadians.
Yeah, but
it's just the weirdest language accent ever.
Louisiana, New Orleans, they were French.
Yeah.
Obviously Mexico.
Yeah.
God, what do you call it? Texas.
Yeah.
The southern states.
Yeah.
are more Spanish speaking or
Yeah.
Spanish
And then as
descent.
time's gone on, a lot of Irish immigrated there.
Yeah, well, all across Europe, especially the Irish, they arrived when the potato famine was going on.
Yeah,
Potato famine.
I didn't even know there was loads of Germans that went over there as
Yeah,
well.
a lot of Germans back in the early days because they were
A lot of Italians as well.
Italians.
The mob went over there, didn't they?
Latterly, that was like early 20th century.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Italian immigration.
Yeah.
But the Germans went over there because mainly they were Protestants fleeing the Catholics.
Yeah, yeah.
So remember, the German Protestantism took off in Germany big time, or the Germanic area.
Yeah.
The Catholics are like, oh no, you don't, sonny.
Yeah.
So they fucked off to America.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I mean,
There's
a lot of people, a lot of Cubans there as well.
Fled from Cuba.
Yeah.
I won't have a word said against Fidel.
Yeah, I know you get upset about that, but a lot of them did. A lot of Cubans didn't like Fidel, so they escaped, or they did like him at the beginning, but as time went on, they left because it became a bit more corrupt.
Do you remember the show Band of Brothers?
I haven't seen it.
It's
awesome. I know everyone keeps telling me to watch it.
Right, we're watching. I think it's on Prime.
Yeah.
At one point, there's this American soldier mocking these German captives. Where are you from, son? Yeah. And he's got a cigar, and this one German pipes up and says, "I'm from Detroit, Michigan."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?" He's like, "So am I." And he's like, "Yeah, we probably both worked at the same factory."
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, what the fuck are you doing in a German uniform?" He goes, "Well, my parents are German, and when Germany said we want all sons of the fatherland to return, we answered the call."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was before America joined the war. So I mean, is he legally being a traitor? I don't know.
And that is why war is silly.
Yes, war is a racket.
Yeah.
As said Major
I
General
do need to read.
Butler.
Do need to read that book that you gave me.
But
yeah, to get back to where we were, where were we?
Trump is very divisive.
Yeah.
And I think that he annoyed more people than supported him.
Yeah. Like I said, though, I don't think Facebook helped, though. They spread a lot of misinformation.
Doesn't help in any election nowadays. I think, who was it that turned off the social media for the election? Some country you messaged me the other day. Was it Uganda or something like that? Yeah, Uganda,
yeah, because they know how, because apparently some guy did some, I don't know who he is. I think he's someone that does statistic analysis, and he said something like Facebook can swing something like 15 million votes or something.
Yeah, so turn it off for the election. You know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't have an issue with that. Let's get the fairest result being given to us without. I mean, I'm not going to say misinformation because the mainstream media is just disinformation.
Yeah.
But without as much disinformation. Some knobber with a mobile phone starts making up lies, and before you know it, 50,000 people have shared it and said, "Oh, look at this! Isn't this party terrible?"
Well,
and you can't have that.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. See,
people aren't inherently honest.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, all these massive social media networks that we use, they all have their own political bias. The people that are in charge of them, and unfortunately, they're all American.
Yeah.
And they all voted and even donated to the Democrats, so they obviously clearly had political bias. I mean, they literally spread so much misinformation about Trump, pretty much all lies. And with Biden, nothing. Did you see anything bad about Biden?
Apart from the hair sniffing.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't mix in that echo chamber.
Yeah.
I'd imagine there probably were quite a few Biden hair sniffing memes and worse going about. A lot of people were saying that Biden was a paedophile.
Yeah.
I say if you level that at him, I think you've got to level that at Trump.
Yeah, I think you need. I don't think either. I think
every politician of recent times is a paedophile. They've all been on the fucking jet to. They've all been on that Lolita Express to Epstein's Island. I'm telling you.
He is a pedo. I don't think he's a pedo.
Who knows? I don't know. He hasn't been in politics long enough. He hasn't been that powerful long enough.
I don't think
everyone of a certain age who's a politician
Yeah.
has probably been to that island if they're important.
No, I don't think Keir has anyway, at the very least. But yeah.
I think Tony Blair might have been.
You reckon?
I had heard his name was on the things.
Wow.
Everyone's forgot about Gazelle Maxwell.
Disappeared.
Yeah, strange that, isn't it? Nothing's come out about that.
Yeah,
it
will disappear.
It's just gone away, hasn't it?
Yeah.
COVID's taken care. Oh my God, I've just figured it out.
What?
Well, if Gazelle Maxwell's testimony was to literally cause every single major politician, billionaire, actor to all of a sudden be arrested for child abuse, that could bring about the downfall of society.
That would mean QAnon was right. That's the one I have heard.
So that means that
they call it the cabal or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The elites.
That's the only one I've heard.
How can we take global attention away from the fact that we're all fucking kids?
Yeah.
I know. pandemic. And then there's like ding 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 ding.
I still
ding,
think
ding,
Disney did it.
Vaccine.
I still think Disney did it. The fucking mouse did it. Literally a couple of days after lockdown. Here's Disney Plus. Buy a membership.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Maybe they are pedos, and I think it is a little bit creepy that he sniffs, Biden sniffs little girls' hair. But
of anyone's hair.
I think unless you have evidence, you can't really make accusations on that. But it is a little bit creepy that he does that.
The German football manager used to sniff his arse and rub his arse and lick it and sniff his fingers.
It's a bit weird.
That's a bit weird. He's like, you know, what can you do?
Some people are weird, I guess.
Trump likes to fantasize about fucking his daughter.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. That isn't fake news. That's real.
Not fake
he really
news.
said that.
And there's been some, let's say, intimate pictures. Not intimate. Yeah. That's wrong. Like, they're not naked.
Yeah.
But like some of the poses they're in.
Yeah.
Are kind of a bit. All right, you could argue that maybe he just really does genuinely fatherly love his daughter.
Yeah.
But at the same time, given his like, hey, I'd fuck my daughter. I'd marry my daughter if she wasn't my daughter.
He didn't say that, did he? He just said she was beautiful.
She's hot. I'd marry her if she wasn't my daughter, which is what every dad's going to say about their daughter.
I don't think I would. It's a bit weird.
I know, because you're not going to say to your daughter
that she's ugly.
You're an ugly bitch, aren't you?
I don't know. If she's hot, it would keep her humble, wouldn't it? All the guys were after. I'm like, you ain't that pretty.
Yeah, you ain't getting him.
Or give her daddy issues, one or the other.
Yeah, probably daddy issues. And then she'd end up with some bloke who's just doing smack in a fucking
some criminal
abandoned council flat.
Yeah. But yeah,
you told me I couldn't have all the hot men.
So now I'm here taking heroin with 50 kids.
You stopped Ben from marrying me.
That would never happen. I would never let that happen.
What?
Because you'd be like 60.
So?
That would be wrong on so many levels.
Well, she's 18. She can make her own mind up.
No.
Why not?
No. Right, so where were we?
You fucking prude, you are.
You're like, I would be a perfect gentleman. I already know you wouldn't be.
Of course I'm a perfect gentleman.
Not from the things you've told me, you wouldn't be.
Well...
You're like, a gentleman doesn't kiss and tell. Except for you tell everyone everything.
Can't help it, I'm a B, I don't want to brag.
Yeah. Some things you should brag about. Some things nobody wants to know.
It's all life experience, man.
Is it? Right, so we'll move on to big tech sort of censorship.
Yes, this is a big issue.
Yeah, so before the election, this was a big issue because they were literally fact-checking everything that everyone was saying and sharing.
Allegedly fact-checking.
Yeah, which as we know now...
Then you trust the fact-checkers.
Yeah, as we know now, because we were led to believe before the election, because they brought that in for the election, the fact-checker. You didn't see fact-checkers before that election.
No, Facebook specifically brought it in. This is false, this is true.
Yeah, and now it's in for everything. I mean, you get it when people share COVID stuff and stuff. Not as much, it's usually on the election stuff, but it's mostly because of that, and they brought it in because of that, because they said people were sharing misinformation. But as we know now, and we thought that they were going to be trustworthy, most of these fact checkers, they also have political bias.
Which everyone does.
Yeah, but you'd think that they would be trying at least do their job as non-biased sort of thing, but they haven't been. And actually they were fact checking and blocking conservatives so much that some conservatives actually sued them because of it and won. Because sometimes the fact checkers have been wrong. Yeah. So
I mean, obviously, Twitter has been taken away from Donny. Yeah. Donny T.
Well, they've kicked him off on everything now.
Has he gone to Parler?
He got kicked off of Twitter. He got kicked off of Facebook, and he's just recently got kicked off of YouTube permanently on all of them because they're all owned by what I would believe is left-wing. People, I guess.
People with a left-wing bias.
Yeah. So they've all kicked him off. So obviously you'd think then he'd go to Parler because Parler is more your right-leaning sort of conservative.
That's where you tend to go if you get kicked off Twitter.
Yeah. So the guys that created Parler originally, they just wanted to create a competitive forum to Facebook.
And an open forum.
Yeah, and an open because they didn't fact check. So it was just going to be, anyone could use it. They just wanted to be Facebook's rival because Facebook were fact checking the conservatives so much. All the conservatives then flocked to Parler. And Parler then got the brand of, they're the conservative Facebook. Yeah. They weren't planning to do that. They just wanted to compete with Facebook because of all the fact checking. They kind of became that, but sort of de facto sort of thing. But because of that, after all the election and stuff, Facebook and Twitter basically pushed to have them removed, and now Amazon, the Play Store, so Google Play Store and Apple Play Store have removed them.
iTunes.
Is it iTunes?
App Store.
App Store.
App Store.
They've removed Parler completely. It's no longer functioning. So they're essentially,
that's censorship. Though.
Yeah, they've censored them, which is awful, really, because at the beginning of the election they blocked everything to do with anything good Trump did. They fact checked everything. Anything he said, they fact checked. And they actively blocked anything bad to do with Biden. So nobody had an idea that Biden had done anything bad, which he pretty much hasn't done anything bad. He's just sat around doing nothing for 4 years.
He did do that thing about the
the crime bill.
The crime bill where he blocked certain schools to people from poor black neighborhoods.
Yeah, he did do 2 bad things. You could argue that was a different time, I guess. I wouldn't argue that. But if you were pro-Biden, you'd argue that.
I suppose what you got to look
at.
He
did the crime bill, which got a ton of black people in jail, and he did the school thing where you couldn't go to different schools that weren't in your district. Right.
Yeah, so
you could argue he was racist back in the day.
Yeah, you can, but he's meant to be really good friends with Obama, and I can't see them keeping that going.
Well, have you seen the interview? Have you seen the interview though, where he says that Obama is like one of the only like clean and well-spoken black people he's ever met?
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
but he is though, in all fairness.
Yeah, he is clean and well-spoken, but he's not one of the only ones.
No.
So
Neil deGrasse Tyson springs to mind straight away.
You could argue that he's just
Morgan Freeman. I could go on and on.
You could just argue that he just comes from a different time, I guess, and a lot of the things he says I don't think he means to say, but he for the guy that says he's very equal and he's not the racist and Trump's the racist, he does say a lot of questionable things.
Yeah, but people do change, and he is senile.
Yeah, exactly.
Allegedly.
Exactly. So I wouldn't say he is racist, but I would say he used to be. He definitely used to be.
I think what bugs me the most about the whole US election, in a way, is the fact that there's another 2 old dudes going at it.
Yeah, it was
like, where's your Kennedy?
It always seems to be old dudes at the moment.
Where's your guys who are in their 40s?
Yeah.
Where are these people?
Yeah.
And, are they being blocked by the system?
Yeah.
I presume so.
Yeah.
Because you think, well, let's get this. Remember how good it felt to have JFK, this young leader?
Yeah, and he was around long, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, probably because they didn't want to go to Vietnam. Yeah. He didn't want to go to Vietnam, and he didn't want to get rid of Castro. He didn't want to remove Castro by force, anyway.
Yeah.
So, doesn't help. And then
I think the powers that be got rid of him.
I mean, I came up with a conspiracy theory where the Kennedys are actually taken out the same as the Trumps might be, because there are a bunch of people not going to let that family in.
Yeah. Well, that's the scariest thing about Trump is you can't manipulate him with money because he's got tons of money. You can't manipulate him with power because he tried one time and became president. So clearly you can't manipulate him with either
Even though it was only because Gwen Stefani was getting paid more than him.
So literally you could...
I love that. I do like that.
Yeah, you've told me that before. You could literally say, oh, he's a corrupt guy and all this, but in terms of politics, he's uncorruptible because you can't manipulate him. They can't blackmail him because they tried to impeach him. They couldn't find any dirt on him. So he's literally uncorruptible. Yeah. And it's the same thing with JFK. That's why I would argue you could say that they got rid of him because he's an uncorruptible.
The only thing JFK was corruptible for was vagina.
Yeah.
And
which is the same thing Trump was.
And everybody knew that he loved
Which vagina. Is the same thing Trump's weakness is.
Yeah, every man has an Achilles heel. His was just further up.
Yeah. But my problem with big tech at the back before the election was they literally came out all about Hunter Biden, which is Joe Biden's son, and his laptop and all the incriminating evidence. And Biden, his team, and literally all the fact checkers, Facebook, Twitter, all that, were all saying it was just Russian disinformation and Trump and his team were making it up and the conservatives were making it up. And then after the election, after Biden had won, the guy, literally, what's his name? Barr or something like that. He's like literally, he's in charge of he was in charge of Homeland Security or something stupid like that. Is it Bill Barr? I can't remember his name now.
That sounds too close to Bill Burr.
Yeah, it's probably not. It's probably, I don't know what his name is, but he literally came out and said that they knew about the laptop and it is real, and they just didn't say anything about it because they didn't want to affect the election. And it's like, well, everything else.
If it was Trump's son,
if Trump would have sneezed, it would have been all over everything.
No, but if Eric Trump was doing that,
or
I'm pretty sure.
Trump Jr.
I'm pretty sure that it would have had a lot more attention in the press.
Yeah, and yet with Biden and his son, it was all covered up. I mean, it's been covered up now because they literally they've been investigating this laptop for like 2 years, and there's like tons of evidence on there. Nobody's saying there isn't evidence. He literally, you can find an interview of it, and literally said he was called up and told by his lawyer to basically, we've got to lawyer up because they've got a case against us.
Yeah.
So they're literally going to take us to court. But you hear nothing of it. Even now, after the election's over, you'd think you'd hear about it, and you hear nothing.
Well, wasn't Hillary supposed to go to court over the emails back in November?
Yeah, well, she literally said...
that could have been postponed.
Yeah, she said that Trump was a Russian agent, essentially, and it turns out she's the one with the connections to Russia.
Always spin the shit on someone else. That's the way politics works now. Basically, I read the things like, so what you do is you go, we're doing that.
Yeah.
But the other side are probably doing that too.
Yeah.
So we'll tell everyone that they're doing it and we're not, even though we are.
Yeah.
And we don't know for sure they are, but we suspect it. So we'll tell everyone they're doing it while sweeping our own corner, just sweeping our own evidence just under the rug.
Yeah. She had something like 4,000 emails or something that they couldn't open or something, and she destroyed her phone and stuff. It's like,
If anyone's destroying their phone, I'd always take that as a sign of guilt.
Yeah, she's a sketchy woman, to be fair.
She is. I mean, I fully agree with that. I mean, so the choice in 2016 was like Trump or possibly the world's most corrupt woman.
Well, that's why I think...
And you're like, well, no wonder they went for Trump.
That's why I think Trump initially got in. I don't think anyone thought Trump was going to be a good president. So they literally thought, well, it's this guy who will just kind of not do anything for 4 years except for run his mouth, or this woman that clearly wants to go to war with everyone. Yeah. So they literally picked him. And I think, you might not like him, and a lot of people might not like him, but he did all right, to be fair. He's not the worst by any measure. And to be fair, it's not that I dislike or like Biden. I just don't think he's going to do a lot. I think he's going to be in Obama. Yeah, he'll be. Well, I think he'll be in like a year, and then he'll be out, won't he?
Yeah, they got Kamala Harris. Yeah, I give him 2 years tops.
Yeah, and then he'll step down. But it's shocking how much censorship there still is now, to the point where they're not just have they removed Trump from all platforms, they're also removing supporters, celebrities, politicians,
conspiracy theorists are gone off YouTube now. You've got
they've removed
QAnon stuff, which is bollocks.
They've removed anything that says free to steal. So you can't, if you put hashtag free to stop the steals, not free to steal, stop the steal, they'll remove it instantly.
No, free to steal was what happened when they went into the Senate and stole all the stuff.
So they've removed anything like that, anything to do with anything pro-Trump. They're actively removing, and that's like literally whether or not you agree with anything, whether or not you say that's a conspiracy theory or he's telling the truth, or I don't agree with that guy or he's running his mouth. Whether or not you agree or disagree, you can't just remove him and a whole political side just because you don't like what they're saying.
No, and I do agree with that. I mean, if it's hate speech, or if it's if it's inciting violence,
if it's far right or far left, and they're literally saying something awful, then it needs to be removed. Obviously,
but at the same time, again, it's censorship, and I don't like censorship. But I also think that some ideas are too dangerous, and I have to look at it. You have to look at it.
If
for the good of the species,
if somebody's going to be harmed,
if someone starts spouting off about bloody let's have concentration camps again, then that kind of shit needs to be shut down.
Which is basically what AOC keeps implying. She terrifies me too. She's a new Hillary.
Oh, don't. I mean, I used to like her.
Yeah,
and I still do have a bit of a crush on her, but
she is a bit crazy. Your type.
Exactly my type.
Yeah.
But when you're selling T-shirts for $60 that says "Capitalism sucks," I see the irony.
Yeah.
But just I don't get that one.
Yeah, she's what you'd call a typical corrupt politician, definitely.
And I suppose the fact
she was one of the first people to say we need to keep a list of everyone that supported Trump.
Wow.
It's like, well, why do you need a list?
And how are you going to get that list?
And then after a while, it was like, we need the list so we can hold them responsible. And it's like,
now that'll take us on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Why would they need a list of people who support Trump?
Yeah.
Because
that's scary.
The Senate, which led to the cyber ban, but the US Senate was stormed by a group of
supporters.
MAGA supporters.
Yeah.
I refuse. I don't believe it was Antifa in disguise for a second.
There was an Antifa guy there, though. He's been arrested.
Oh, maybe there was. Maybe there was one or two. Maybe he's playing both sides, so he always comes out on top.
I honestly think that was just a conspiracy that the Antifa was there pretending to be Trump supporters. Do I think Antifa was there? Yes, because we've literally the guy, a leader. I don't know if he's an Antifa actually or a BLM. But he is one of them, and he got arrested yesterday, I think.
Maybe he's a secret Trump supporter.
No, he's one of the leaders. He did during all the Black Lives Matter. He was standing up and doing all the speeches and stuff.
You think they'd have twigged who he was?
They did. They caught him pretty quickly.
No, I mean like the people in the crowd might have twigged who he was. Then again, echo chambers.
Yeah, you wouldn't be at any of those rallies, would you?
Buffalo guy. I forget his real name.
QAnon Buffalo guy.
QAnon Buffalo shaman.
Yeah. Right. Just before we carry on. Will you because these guys? What would you?
I know what's coming.
What would you call these guys?
I would call these guys violent protesters.
No, you would. That's not what you said the other day. What are they?
You have to call them.
They were rioters, if not terrorists.
Rioters,
if not terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
Because they were hurting people and they were invading a building. So what were Antifa in the summer?
May have been elements, may have been
of terrorism,
domestic terrorism,
and it was
elements maybe,
and it was rioting, not protesting.
It started off as protesting.
Oh yeah, so did the Capitol freaking thing. That started off as protesting.
I didn't agree with the riots.
No.
All the attacks on the police. Not every policeman's a twat.
No. A lot of them are good.
A lot of them are good. Some of them are
the thing is
sympathisers who let you through the barricades and then pose the selfies with you.
Do you know what the craziest thing
Where's them policemen? They get arrested.
Do you know what the craziest thing is, though? In the Democrat cities, which is where all this stuff happened, all these protests with BLM and Antifa, most of those cities are filled with police officers that are mostly ethnic. There's loads of black police officers. Literally, if you watch the videos, there's like Antifa screaming at black cops. And it's like, what are you doing?
They put on the uniform.
Yeah, so does that? So they don't matter anymore.
So that's it. You're part of the system, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're part of the fascists.
Yeah.
As they see it.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because they're just trying to live their lives and keep what they think.
They're just paying their mortgage and feeding their family
and trying to keep the city that they love safe. It's crazy. That's what it's crazy to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Protests are important, and the protests during the day for BLM. Well. That's the thing. You can't be lazy. BLM. Literally, we watched that comedy thing the other day, and that guy said it. BLM, the movement, and BLM, the organization, are two different things.
Yeah.
The movement is really important, and that happened during the day. There was no violent protests, or pretty much none during the day. They were peaceful, and it's important. But the organization, they're just anarchists. Literally, they call themselves Marxists. And they are literally they just wanted to. I mean, you're not going to prove your point by breaking into a Nike and stealing trainers and jackets, are you?
No,
that's not proving a political point.
Just proving that you're there to loot.
Yeah.
And I suppose
or burning a local business to the ground.
And I suppose you have to look at it's like, okay, the peaceful protest or the students have gone away, and now it's the anarchists, and they're just coming in for shits and giggles, under the umbrella of. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Smash that window, grab the telly.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all it is. Yeah.
But the Senate stormings, it was described as a coup.
Yeah.
An attempted coup.
See, that's ridiculous to me.
I think there's some element to that. I don't think it was an attempted coup, but I think that the act itself is and you can see why this has led to, I can see why it's led to an attempt to impeach or remove, or because that shit's never happened.
No.
And
it's not been stormed since the British stormed it.
War of 1812. I don't even actually think the Senate was there then.
I think they stormed it.
And the White House we burned to the ground in 1812. I'm not sure if the Capitol building was there.
No, we didn't do it. I didn't do anything. I was nowhere near it.
I'm claiming genetic heritage on that one. I'm like, it's like the Animus.
Yeah.
They'll put me in the Animus, and I'll go back and I'll be like, burn the White House with my musket and flag.
Yeah. You're like, they scoffed at us for drinking tea and wearing wigs. Burn them all.
I've still got my wig, Yankee.
I wouldn't call it a coup. I think that's just the social media again pushing it, because A coup means that you're trying to take military action to take
Not necessarily.
enforce power. He's already in power. He's still in power now. I mean, he won't be by the time this is released.
He wants to stay in power, though.
Yeah,
big time. He doesn't want to be a one-term president.
But if he wanted to, he could have literally taken military action at any point. The military love him. He could have literally taken.
Did he win the military vote? They do tend to go Republican generally.
I think so. I don't know.
But
some of them went missing. That was another argument.
They come from overseas, don't they?
That was the
overseas votes take like a couple of weeks to come through.
That was another argument the Republicans had, I think, is that a load of something like 9,000, like in one of the swing states where it was close, something like 9,000 of them went missing of the military votes, so they couldn't count them.
Oh, well, I tell you what happened there.
What?
Obviously, the helicopter carrying the sacks of mail was shot down.
Yeah.
by the Taliban or ISIS or whoever.
I didn't check to see if they were found or not, or if it made a difference, if it swung, if it was. I honestly don't know. I didn't follow up on that one, to be fair, but I know they lost them.
I mean, let's just go back to.
But he does love the military, and they love him. They're like obsessed with him. So
they love him because he hasn't sent them to war in 4 years.
Yeah, basically.
Thank God for that.
He's pulling them out of wars, and also he's put a ton of money into it. So they're probably all getting pay rises. So
whether they're getting pay rises or that money's just going to creating new weapons of death.
Yeah,
there's a possibility it's a bit of both.
Everyone knows if you want to create a coup, the two things you do is first you take military power. So a militia wouldn't have been enough. There was like 80 people in the capital, in the building. So that would not have been enough. So he could have just sent in a military force that was loyal to him to have taken it. And number two, you take out your opposition. He didn't go after Biden.
Now they're saying that there's laptops been taken and this might have had some actual pre-planning to it.
Yeah.
A panic button was removed from a certain senator's office.
Yeah, but apparently she's not very well liked by people. She's known for chatting a lot of shit, apparently.
So maybe there was an element of maybe the ringleaders have been on a tour the week before.
Yeah,
I've heard
you've been reading all the social media stuff again, haven't you? I've read all that. Yeah,
I've just been glancing at it. I don't believe. I think
the Democrats are trying to.
I think there's an element of pre-planning because I think the ones that made it in. I think they had a bit of help from the police, loyalists within the police.
Maybe
who opened the barricades.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it speaks volumes. And you said about that guy who used to run security for the Secret Service.
Yeah, Dan Bongino.
And he was like, "There's like the security was just the police put out was nothing."
Yeah, that railing is like what you put out for like concerts and stuff. It doesn't keep anything.
Yeah, it's just a fence to funnel people through and
they moved it so
and they moved it. It's easily moved, but it's got like a concrete
block.
The
police moved it so that they could come in.
Oh yeah, because all you do is lift out the peg and swing it to the side.
I've seen video footage of some police officers just stood there and let them walk through. Yeah. Like they're in the building, they just stood there and let them walk through. And it's almost like you've got to think though, these guys literally they put their life on the line every single day, and they've been getting nothing but hate for like a year. So why the hell would they put their life on the line to protect people? They're literally trying to defund them. And
then the guys who are saying that Blue Lives Matter are smacking you over the head with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. What, did that happen, did it?
Yeah.
Did the cop get hit on the head, did he?
Yeah, he died.
Fucking hell. Was that the cop that got hit?
Yeah, he got hit on the head by a fire extinguisher.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've seen a great photo of a...
Yeah, but do you know whether or not he actually was a Blue Lives Matter supporter?
Well, I'm assuming that most Trump supporters are Blue Lives Matter. And I did see a great photo of someone with a Blue Lives Matter American flag storming the police barricade.
Has he been arrested for murder then?
I don't know if anyone has been arrested for that yet. I think it's a possibility.
They've come out and said that he died from a head wound.
Died from a head injury of getting smacked over the head with this fire extinguisher.
I've not seen that yet. But again, that's one person, and you don't know what who that person is or anything. So it doesn't mean that they're like a massive sort of Blue Lives Matter supporter.
Oh no, I mean he could have hated the police as much as anybody. But I'm just saying that the political side he's on.
They usually do, yeah. And there's a lot of video footage of a lot of Trump support. So there was like hundreds of thousands of people there, and there's a lot of footage of actually people seeing the people trying to infiltrate and actually dragging them to the police. Yeah. So there's one guy who's trying to smash a window, and there's like 30 guys come grab him, drag him, and pull him to the police.
I saw one great video.
Yeah.
It was like they were trying to. This guy with a MAGA hat, and he was trying to climb this wall.
Yeah.
Up to the Senate, and this guy's leaning over the railings. He's like, "Come on, buddy, I'll help you up." And he's like, reaches for him, and he goes, "Ah!" and falls off. And it's like, you just found out that walls don't work, haven't you? Or some of them work, some of them don't work, some of them work. Because a lot of them were scaling this wall, and he was just out of shape.
Yeah.
You and me climbing the wall.
And you fell.
And I fell and go, fuck it, walls do work. I'm going home.
Why didn't they just walk around? Why did they climb
I don't know,
wall?
but some of them are climbing this wall.
Seems a bit dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe. I think that's what the Democrats are trying to push, that it was planned. I don't believe it was planned, because literally, if it was planned, they would have actually succeeded in some way, shape, or form, because they were totally caught with their pants down. These people got into the building. They were face to face the senators. Had they wanted to kill someone, like a senator, they could have easily.
Well, the senators were in session, weren't they? And the doors were locked. And there's one senator, I think he was a Democrat, who was also an Iraq War veteran.
Yeah.
I think he was last out. He made sure he was last out.
There was a few.
And he was like, I could see that the police were just looking really nervous because they knew there wasn't enough of them to
There was a few Republicans, apparently, that barred the door. They pushed like a desk and barred the door, and they held the door there, but they got through. So
they got through after the senators were ushered out to the panic room or the bunker or whatever.
I think there was still a few in there.
Maybe, but
they got out fairly sharp.
Yeah.
I think
the police really would have stopped them at that. But then let's not gloss over the fact that 6 people died, 5 people died.
Yeah. They were all Trump supporters, bar the cop though. So.
Well, you don't know the cop's political allegiance.
Yeah, he's probably a Trump supporter as well.
And police unions voted massively for Trump. So.
Yeah. So
obviously
6 people died, but you could argue that they didn't really kill anyone.
They killed that woman who was skating through the window.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. They did. The rioters didn't kill anyone. They
They
killed themselves.
Killed the polipoliceman too.
Yeah.
Although I did like
that.
Is the story about the guy tasering his balls?
I don't know if it's true.
I want it to be.
Yeah.
Not because he's. I
don't wish him to be dead, even if he is a rioter.
I don't wish him to be dead, and I don't. It's nothing to do with his political opinions.
But it is a funny story.
I just think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Why would you keep a taser shoved down the front of your trousers? Keep it where it can't.
I don't know if it's true. I want to know. I will find out. I think that it'll come out in the future. But right now, his family claim that he just had a heart issue and he had a heart attack.
Yeah, because he tasered his balls.
Yeah, I think he did. To be fair, I think he tasered his balls. But yeah,
and if he's got a heart condition, like maybe they should have said, do you think you should be going to that really highly emotionally charged rally?
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
Have you got your meds?
I think they did that. I think they came out and announced that just because they were embarrassed on how he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, it's what
we shouldn't find it funny because nobody should die.
No, but it is funny.
Nobody should be stupid enough to be violent or have riots. And like I said, other than that one police officer, it was mostly just the rioters that were killed by the Secret Service and the cops and the military and stuff. But nobody should die at a riot. It's unacceptable. But I mean, if you're going to die, that's a pretty funny way to die. And it's hard not to laugh at it if he did tase his balls.
It's just the lack of common sense. I'm assuming this man. I think he was armed as well because he's exercising his First Amendment rights. Yeah. Legally armed, not like you're turning up in a Gatling.
So why did he take a taser then?
I don't know. Maybe getting close, give him a taser.
Dumb reason to take a taser.
But you're like, it's a backup in it, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's a backup weapon.
Yeah.
But don't put it down the front.
Most of them
never put any weapon down the front of your trousers. I know it looks cool in films.
That's where your dick is.
But that's where your dick or your vag is, and you don't want to shoot it because that's where the fun begins.
Yeah. And ends.
And ends.
Yeah, I don't think many of them were armed. No, that woman that got shot, she wasn't armed.
No, she was an Air Force vet as well, 14 years. But she fell down the QAnon conspiracy rabbit hole.
There'll be an investigation into that because she shouldn't have been in the building, don't get me wrong, but she didn't really do anything wrong other than that. So that she didn't have a gun, she wasn't being violent. The story is she was climbing in a window, was it?
Climbing through a window, but then they shot her because I think there was reports of an active shooter.
Yeah. And
she kind of must have surprised them, just sort of come through this broken window to their side, and they went, oh fuck, active shooter at the front, threat to the side, and it's not a question of
just shoot.
They assessed, decided, you know what, fuck it, it's me or her.
Yeah, there'll be an investigation into that because they shouldn't have killed her, but at the same time, it'll be, I think, no charges will be brought because I mean they shouldn't have been charged in the Capitol.
No, and they were doing their job at the end of the day.
Yeah, they were doing their job. So there'll be an investigation because they'll be like, well, why did you shoot her? Because she clearly wasn't armed and all this and that. And they'll be like, well, they were storming the building. We're trying to protect these high-level officials. So nothing will come of it.
Without sounding a little condescending, I don't think that would have happened in Britain.
No, it would not.
Even if they were armed.
Yeah.
I think
we handle those situations a lot better.
I think that our police.
Sorry, we have a lot of American listeners, but we do handle those situations a lot better. We've
had a lot of experience dealing with this shit.
We draw guns if absolutely only necessary, and even then we try not to fire.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even. Do you remember the guy on London Bridge?
Yeah.
I mean, they shot him as a last resort because they thought he was going for a trigger.
Yeah.
So they thought he had a vest on.
Yeah.
But some bloke was attacking him with a narwhal tusk.
That guy was a criminal as well.
No, that was a different dude.
Was it?
Yeah, there was a guy working. There's a Polish bloke working in a fishmonger's off the side of the bridge. He saw it and he grabbed this narwhal tusk off the wall and started trying to prod this bloke.
I heard there was a guy.
And then there was a bloke who wrestled him down.
Yeah.
Was actually on day release.
Yeah.
He killed somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
He was being, because of good behaviour, he was being allowed out for the day. And the police were the one. Have you ever seen the footage to that?
No, I've heard about it.
The police are like pointing weapons as two armed police stood over, and they're literally shouting. The one's shouting to the guy holding him because he's holding his arms like that behind his back, kind of thing. Let go of him, let go of him. And the other cop is screaming at the other guy, "Don't do anything stupid, like surrender." And as soon as his arms are let go of, he kind of reached for something, so they just both opened up at like about 3 foot away. They put about 6 rounds into him at point blank.
That's crazy.
No, it is crazy, but if you can still move after you've been shot, you can still pull a trigger.
Yeah,
and that's
you have
why
to put him down. Yeah.
So you have to put him. That's why when that Brazilian plumber after the 7/7 attacks, they shouted at him. He didn't understand them. He hopped the barricade. Yeah. He looked a bit like a suspect. Some suspect they've been looking for. They just put 7 rounds into his back.
Yeah.
And then they stood over him and put another 3 into his head.
Yeah.
Because if he can pull a trigger, he can still kill people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he's got a suicide vest on, he's going to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I thought there is no such thing for me as extreme force overkill. There is no such thing as overkill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
All joking aside, though, I think we can both agree that it was completely unacceptable what happened.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no way, no matter, like, I completely understand because I've been watching this quite closely for a year because there's been nothing else to do because we've been locked down for over a year, which we'll talk about because we're getting a little bit annoyed about that over here as well. But yeah, I've been watching this very closely, and it seems like the conservatives in America, like the Republicans, like, and I'm not talking about the politicians, I'm talking about the people, have literally been ignored for like a year, or they've been pushed around, they've been fact-checked, they've been deleted, and whether or not you agree with the election stuff, they at least felt they deserved to be heard and be proven wrong, and they didn't even get that. So they were already upset and agitated, and then it was almost like they just snapped on that day, or at least a few of them did anyway. Yeah. Because there was hundreds of thousands of people there, and a lot of them were just peacefully protesting and didn't go violent at all. But it only takes a few hundred people, doesn't it?
That's it.
And like I think it was about 80 people got in, and like not all of them were violent. As we know, that one woman got shot. She apparently wasn't being violent, but there would have been violent people there.
I enjoyed the guy walking out with Pelosi's podium.
Yeah, he was just robbing that.
I thought that was great.
They've got that back already somehow.
Well, because he was literally photographed giving a big thumbs up and a cheesy grin. They were like facing the camera with it over his shoulder. It's like, I should probably give this back to avoid any charges.
Oh no, he's going to get charges for stealing that. I bet they knocked on his door and he was like, "I'll go get it."
I bet he had it in his front room and he was like
addressing. I
bet he was addressing his family from it at all times.
He was like, "I'll go get
I'm the speaker of this house, and what I say goes. We're going to watch this."
Yeah, but yeah, we can both agree. No matter how upset they were, they should. It was only a few people, but it was still unacceptable, and they were basically. The people that went there and stormed it, whether they were peaceful or not, it was almost an act of terrorism, wasn't it?
They may have gone there for that reason. A core of them. You don't know. Yeah. We don't know. We won't know.
Yeah, but but I think my only issue with this is obviously because we're going to talk about the impeachment. But my issue is they've used this as an idea for an impeachment, saying that Trump incited violence. Yet he said peaceful protest multiple times on his posts. And then during his speech, while they were there, these hundreds of thousands of people, he was telling them peaceful, peaceful, peaceful the whole time. And it's not his fault that they've got agitated. They've got agitated because no one will listen to them and they keep getting censored. Yeah. That's why they're angry. That's why they're upset. 75 million people are being ignored and pushed around. You keep bullying someone, eventually they're going to snap.
I do think that on Inauguration Day, it's only going to take a single spark.
Yeah, it could get a lot worse. And the worst thing is now is they're trying to impeach him. Yet during last summer, with all the rioting and all that happening, you had Democrats, like high-level officials, endorsing it, funding it. Literally, there's one person that said, you need to go out in the street, you need to make some noise, you need to get in the face of Republicans.
Yeah.
They were inciting violence. There was that one news reporter said, where does it say that protests have to be peaceful?
Well, I mean, I suppose they don't, but I mean, let's face it, the American Revolution was a protest that got out of hand. I mean, let's face it, 1776, we don't want to pay more taxes. Throw the tea overboard.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you've got a fucking a revolutionary war in your hands.
Exactly. So wherever you sit on the spectrum of that, I mean, you think that revolution is through protests, and then
I think it's through violence.
Violence, yeah.
I don't think you can have a peaceful revolution.
Yeah, it goes well. I mean,
I don't. I think that at some point you're gonna have to pull a gun.
Well, Martin Luther King made change. I know you always say he was killed or whatever,
but he was killed, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't
assassinated.
He didn't incite violence.
No, and his thing was peaceful protest.
And he was getting change.
He was getting results. But isn't it strange that the guys that always advocate peaceful protest get shot?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
John Lennon, MLK, Kennedy. Peaceful guys.
Well, Trump might get shot then because he's been banging on about peace for 2 weeks.
Well, maybe. I mean, The Simpsons hasn't got everything right yet.
That's true. Yeah, but yeah, my argument is
I actually think that would be great for him.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what's happening now.
Because then he would literally be a martyr.
Yeah, but that's what's happening now. They're making him a martyr by going after him politically and trying to ruin him. They're making him a martyr. He'll become a martyr.
He'd be DJT.
Like his fans, like the Americans are very religious, and they worship everything they can, and they worship him. And to crush him politically, financially, and all the ways they're going to try and even make him a criminal, they'll just martyr him. They will martyr him. Yeah. And then the next guy that comes along might be crazy and radical on the right.
Well, see, I always see...
You don't want that.
I always saw, I'd rather have Trump than Pence.
Yeah, because you have the religious aspect.
Because of the right-wing conservative...
He's very quiet. I mean...
He's very quiet, but he's got some beliefs just a little bit...
Yeah, you find them a bit scary.
A bit scary, yeah.
But,
so I'd rather have Trump than Pence.
In the political spectrum, though, he's quiet. He doesn't really do a lot.
No, yeah, he is. But he's doing a Biden, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Biden sat there for 8 years and barely said a fucking word because I suspect Obama knew if he did open his gob, he'd embarrass himself. Yeah. So shut up, Joe. Let me deal with this.
I think he's just trying to skate through all of this, to be fair.
Yes, because I think he's thinking, well...
He could have a shot at being the president, yeah.
4 years' time... I was VP.
Yeah, I could be president.
Yeah. Maybe I'll hold off for 8. Who knows? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, behave for now. Yeah. But to get to my point is I just think it's very... The hypocrisy is just incredible that all these high-level officials, they literally said... There was one, she literally said, if you ever see a Republican, make noise, make a crowd, humiliate them, make them know that they're not wanted or welcome anywhere. And that type of stuff. These are high-level people. Another congressman and House representatives. Another woman, she came out, she did a video, and she literally said basically she got embarrassed or something, and she said something like, you know what to do to her supporters, as in incite violence. And then literally she got almost cancel culture. She almost got cancelled for it because it was so bad. And then she made it even worse by literally saying, oh, I didn't mean that, but people do know what I do mean. And it's just well, what do you mean?
But then you can argue that the whole stand by, stand ready thing is
He didn't say that.
He did say that. I heard him say it.
Google it. He didn't say that. What does stand ready mean?
Stand to, stand ready to go.
Yeah, that's why he didn't say that. Google what he said.
Hang on a second then.
He said stand by.
Stand by.
Stand by means watch and wait something awful happen. He didn't say stand ready. That's probably just propaganda you've read. He said stand by. Stand back and stand by is what he said.
Stand back and stand by, that's right.
Stand by means, literally, if you Google
stand by means...
Google the definition of stand by. It means to watch something bad unfold and not do anything about it.
Oh, but stand by is usually the order given in the British Army before you go into the attack.
Yeah, but that's not what it means everywhere worldwide.
I guess that's how I understand
it.
No,
stand by literally means stand by and watch this awful thing unfold, which is what they've done.
Yeah.
It's what he ordered.
But then you could also take it the way I mean it.
Yeah, but you thought that they said stand ready, but they didn't say stand ready. They said
no, but stand by is still the stand by military meaning. It's a preparatory command Usually ordered a standby alerts a unit that will be receiving some kind of marching orders. Standby to launch, for example. Unofficially, it's used to tell junior members to be ready and wait.
Yeah, but that's
So you could argue that
doesn't sound violent in any way. That just means
you're getting ready to go into action.
No, you're just getting ready.
You're ready to go.
So you're proving my point. Then it just means stand ready if anything happens. So be defensive, protect. So you're saying defend.
Yes, but
so that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
But they're pulling that out. But they shouldn't be doing. He shouldn't be telling them to do that.
What,
there's a whole federal network of police and security agents who are standing by and standing ready. He doesn't need to say to a bunch of what are they? Where do they stand? Are they alt-right?
Far right.
Far right. Yeah. He doesn't need to say to a bunch of far right guys, "Hey, stand by and stand ready."
He didn't say stand ready.
Stand by and stand by.
Stand by just means to watch something unfold.
It means get ready to go.
No, it doesn't. You just read it. And
I just read exactly. That's exactly what I just read. No, stand by.
It doesn't say that. You just read it. It says stand by if you need them, not ready to go. If
stand
you need
by.
Them.
Be present while something bad is happening, but fail to take action to stop it,
or
be ready to deal or assist with something.
There you go.
It's got two meanings. So you could argue he was being quite clever in that. But you can't deny that it does mean two things.
Yeah, but the second meaning doesn't mean what you think it means.
It means exactly what I think it means. Stand by to assist.
Yeah.
So, for example,
you didn't say assist. You said to be ready for violence. Assist just means help with something. It means help with anything.
Yeah,
it could mean help an old lady across the street. You literally have no argument there. You've lost.
2 battalions are on their way, and a third was standing by. Is the official dictionary definition.
Yeah, so that means that they're
standing by. They're waiting for something. If their assistance is needed, they're waiting.
Yeah,
to help an old lady across the street. Anyway,
but you've just proved my point again now.
No, because stand by means. All right, stand there,
so
wait, but be ready.
So did that 4th battalion go into action?
Well, in the dictionary definition, I don't know.
Exactly, because they just stood around. It just means stand still.
It means be ready to go, though.
It means stand still.
But it means, yes, stand still, but be ready to go in case we need you.
Of assistance,
Yeah. So maybe that was this, like, hey, storm the city boys.
That's not violence, though. That just means if anyone needs you, we'll let you know.
Yes, but he shouldn't be telling them.
Why?
Because he's got a whole raft of federal agencies.
Yeah.
Why are you telling a bunch of civvies to do anything?
Well, that's the reason why militias exist.
Of course, the militia system, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not a militia.
Huh?
They're not a militia as such.
Well, what do you have to be classed as a militia?
I'm not sure, but I don't think they're a militia. You have to usually have like militia in their name. I mean, are they a militia? Or are they just a group? I don't know.
They're a group of armed force that believe they're doing right. They haven't done anything.
I suppose you could argue. Then in the militia system, we're going to have to look into
during all the riots and stuff in the summer. A lot of people were protected by the Proud Boys. If you're on about the Proud Boys, they were protected by them because the Antifa kept attacking random civilians, and the Proud Boys were protecting them.
And then there was
I watched an interview with an old lady where she said she was nearly attacked by Antifa, and the Proud Boys chased them off.
Ah.
So I mean,
do they help her across the street after them?
Probably.
Aww.
That's what I mean. Literally, stand by just means wait and watch. But if we need you, we'll let you know. It doesn't mean prepare. Yeah, but you're trying to say it means prepare for violence, but it doesn't necessarily mean prepare for violence.
That's what's going to happen, though, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, more than likely.
But it's not really. It's very thin. Your argument was very, very, very thin.
I don't care if it's paper thin. I'm still putting it out there. I'm still going to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to smush it. Smush it into your face.
It was very thin. Very, very thin.
It's so thin it might dissolve, but I'm going to smush it nonetheless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I believe he meant the dictionary. That's the problem. See, when you're a politician, no matter what words come out of your mouth, people will always try and twist it. Stand by, the dictionary definition just means to watch as something.
I've just read you the dictionary definition.
Yeah, to watch it. No, you read the military.
No, I read you the second one was actually the actual definition.
Yeah, but the main is just to stand and watch something. That's why it's stand and then by. No word sounds violent in that word. It's literally stand still while something goes by.
Well, when the SAS stormed the Iranian embassy, it was stand by, go.
Yeah, there you go.
That was the order that was given.
Did he say go?
Maybe he was tweeting somebody. I don't know. Who knows?
They said stand by, and then they stood there, and then they said stand by, and then they stood there, and then they said go. And then what did they do with that word? They went, because go is the word to move. So stand by means stand, and then wait for something to go by, stand and wait for something to go by, and then go. But he didn't say go, did he?
Either way, right.
I think you know I won that one.
Nope. No, I mean, I think there's another meaning to that, which
So, yeah,
I see what you do. But
to
either way, that's why we're here.
Yeah, because literally the left wing stuff brainwashes people into
and the
that
right
shit.
wing stuff doesn't brainwash anyone at all.
Well, I've read the right wing stuff, and it's not brainwashed me.
Yeah, all right, maybe not, but some people it does. Doesn't brainwash me.
The left wing stuff is brainwashing.
I'm just giving you a definition of what it is. Stand by to me.
Yeah.
Having that military experience means, right, they're going in.
Did you attack when they said stand by?
We did eventually.
When they said attack?
When they said, like, well, stand by, you're at readiness, stand by.
Yeah.
So you didn't take your kit off.
Yeah.
You know, you pulled a boiled sweet from your pocket.
Yeah.
Lit a cigarette, had a drink, waited there. The second they said go, you're up. That was it.
So you were pretty much chill, being peaceful, doing nothing.
Well, obviously, finally, no.
Boom! I won.
Still on alert. There's still sentries.
Well, yeah, of course you would be alert, wouldn't you? The Proud Boys have upset a lot of people, so they would be alert because they could get attacked by somebody. They have been attacked. That leader, whatever his name is, what's his name?
He got arrested, the Mexican guy.
Yeah, he's Cuban, I think. He got stabbed, didn't he? So yeah, stand by and freaking.
Did someone stab him in the back?
Yeah,
I thought so. Yeah.
Stand by is a good thing, not sit down, because if he would have sat down, he would have got stabbed in the ass.
How? He sat down?
Through the chair.
No, because he would have turned the chair, because he would have turned the chair around, so the back was covering his.
The problem is, this is the problem, see, social media brainwashes people into believing such stupid things. They're like, oh yeah, Proud Boys are a white nationalist group. It's like, how can they be? Their leader isn't white.
Yeah.
It's like
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they're alt-right.
They're not alt-right. They are a far-right organisation. Alt-right basically means that in order to be alt-right, you're not religious. The alt-right aren't religious. The Proud Boys are religious. So already that doesn't work. A lot of the Proud Boys are like in relationships or married to people of ethnicities. Even that guy that you said that you think's a bit racist, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's married to a Native American woman. And he's considered to be racist.
Wikipedia defines them as a far-right, neo-fascist, male-only political organisation that promotes and engages in political violence in the United States and Canada.
Yeah, so they're not alt-right, they're far-right. I would completely agree with that. They are far-right, because anyone that incites violence is far-left or far-right. Because they've incited violence, that makes you far.
Canada's considering adding them to a terrorist list alongside ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Canada's very left, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to get bogged down with this.
Yeah.
Right,
I shall sit here as I claim my victory in that.
You can claim it all you like.
I won that one.
I don't think so. Anyway, all right. Where do you want to go to next? Do you want to talk about lockdown?
What were we talking about at the end of that? I can't remember. The impeachment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I basically, my point was, it's hypocritical because literally the Democrats, the whole time, during the summertime, they were riling up Antifa and Black Lives Matter to the point where the riots were happening. There was political officials literally saying stuff, and they were turning up to the rallies. They were even funding it.
Yeah, as in turn up, make your voice heard.
Yeah, they were funding it, and they were even
send a message.
Yeah, they were even getting some of the violent protesters out of jail, the ones that were getting arrested, and putting them back on the streets. And then they were just protesting again. To the point where there was autonomous zones set up.
That's true. I mean,
there was Chaz, where there was a ton of murder and rape happening in that area.
Allegedly, that's not.
A lot of women came out and claimed rape.
We did an episode on that and cut into the ball, and I never found anything. And
a lot's happened since then.
So a lot has happened since then, and that was not long after it actually happened. So that would have been last year.
Yeah,
so.
I would do more research on that because I do think there was a lot of women that came out and said, I mean, it was a lawless zone. So.
It was, but then stuff like there was like the reports of some rapper was going around with his posse with AKs saying they were he was the new warlord of Chaz, are completely unfounded apparently.
Yeah.
So I will go back to it, but like I say, at the time, when I looked into it for that, and I do look at both sides for cutting to the ball research because I have to try and remain impartial when I'm doing the research, unless it's about aliens.
Yeah.
In this case, then I'm not impartial because it's like, aliens.
Definitely.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
So
just
the
seems-
impeachment, I think the impeachment's a waste of time.
It is a waste
He's
of time.
got what's the date today? The 15th.
Yeah.
15th. He's got 5 days.
5 days.
So where's that? Next Friday.
It's just one. It's just
No, the next
they've
Friday.
already
Well,
said that they it's pretty much impossible to impeach him in
Yeah.
that time. It usually takes weeks, if not months.
Yeah. How are they gonna, I mean, the only
They
thing
failed
is
last time because they had no evidence.
that now they've got that. They've
He's
got both,
talking
haven't they?
about now releasing all of the evidence he has on them for all the shit they did to him
Oh,
during
I'd
the
love to.
impeachment. So the thing that they call the Obama Gate, which is where Obama apparently spied on him just before, he apparently has a ton of evidence on that. And then releasing all the stuff with the Steele dossier, which is about the guy that claimed that he was basically doing what he did for which caused the impeachment. So he's on about he's going to release all that.
I want to see it, man. I want to see it, and then that's not me taking sides.
No.
I just want to see it. If you got it, show it.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently in
because they had zero evidence for that first impeachment, and well, they've got no evidence for this impeachment either. It's just a farce.
No, what it is they're so panicked by that happening.
Yeah.
They need a scapegoat.
Yeah.
As president, the buck stops with him.
They're trying to say that he incited violence, but they've got no evidence, so I don't know where they're going to go with that.
Because they're going to say they're your supporters. You should have controlled them.
Yeah.
You incited them. And
that's what I meant about the hypocrisy of it. They literally, all of their supporters, they riled up for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Why aren't any of them being impeached?
Although I will just say that the police's behaviour at the Senate and during the BLM riots was when the BLM came to Washington, the police were all stood there in their tactical gear.
Yeah.
They weren't like that for Trump's.
No.
And I think that you've got to,
because usually Trump's people aren't violent. That's why. Usually they don't go violent, do they?
Maybe not, but you're still
not maybe they never do they? Usually?
Well, no, but
that's why
you've
it was
got
so shocking.
You always plan for the worst in these events, and if that involves having officers in tactical gear outside strategic locations, is an interesting fact for you.
With the just to interrupt you, with the Washington thing, they did that one because you have to protect the leader of the country. That's like the most important person in the country at the time, and they honestly thought the White House was going to fall that day.
Yeah, he was in the bunker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't want to go there. They forced him into the bunker.
He was in the bunker with a colouring book and a card.
They were that afraid that they were going to breach the White House. They forced him into the bunker. And that guy I was on about, Dan Bongino, some of his friends called him afterwards that still work for the Secret Services and said that they've never been that afraid. They called him and said that they thought that it would fall that night. They've never been that afraid.
They never got past the fence or the other route.
Apparently, it was really bad.
All right, I'm going to have to watch that, see what's happening.
Apparently, yeah. Well, he's actually Secret Service. So
I still think that's if that's the case, then that's awful. Secret servicing.
Yeah.
Because you've got, I mean, the White House has got fucking anti-aircraft missiles in the grounds.
But you can't just fire on a bunch of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, can you?
They're storming the fucking house of the president, regardless of who it is. And I'm a Secret Service guy, and I've got my M16 or M14 carbine.
Yeah. And
there's a bunch of fucking people. I don't care what political allegiance they've got.
How would
my allegiance is to that office.
But how would the media spin that? If
they spin it however they want.
They already spin him as a white nationalist, which is total bollocks.
It doesn't matter what. If you're...
He starts shooting a bunch of BLM.
If you're the Secret Service guy and you're stationed at a window in the White House and you've got an M14 carbine and a full mag and a bunch of people, regardless of colour, race, creed, political organisation, start storming that fence, it is your job to open fire. After issuing a warning, let's put that in, stand there or I will open fire. You got to scream it at them. Screaming at them several times. As soon as they get close, you're going to have to open up because it's your job not to protect it doesn't matter who's sitting in that Oval Office or who's in that bunker. It's the office of the President of the United States, and that is disgusting.
They didn't, and they didn't because he knows that if he said literally, if they get anywhere close, shoot them, he would be known as.
They would have to. I don't think Trump would make that decision. That would be a Secret Service decision. To be honest, that would be an operator. They are operators, aren't they?
Yeah.
On the ground, making that call because his life is in danger.
Yeah, you'd think. Because of last year with how tense things were, police were reluctant
to fire, maybe.
To fire, yeah.
Oh, and because the police unions voted for Trump, as we said earlier, you know what, fuck it.
The videos all through social media of like all the police in riot gear and stuff, and them going in and them attacking and stuff. They were literally doing that because at that point because they had no point, they had no choice. Literally, these areas were literally being overrun. Like cities were on fire.
Yeah, but the Senate was being overrun.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, but they literally called in the National Guard. You can see photos in the Capitol with literally all the people on the floor with the National Guard pointing guns at them.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of one side has more force against them as the other, I think, is ridiculous because if you look at the photos of both, I mean, one city's burning to the ground and the riot police are literally sometimes running away because they don't want to attack unless they have to. And yeah, sometimes in some cities they did shoot them with rubber bullets and use the smoke stuff. But I mean, they would have told them to disperse a number of times before they did that. They wouldn't have ran straight in. And then with the Capitol thing, it was just a surprise. They just weren't expecting the Trump supporters. And I know you do lean left, but Trump supporters, I mean, when was the last time they were on mass violence?
Well, that's it. They haven't been. In 4 years they haven't been. But now they've lost.
Yeah, which is unacceptable, but that's why I think it came to a shock. I think they didn't put out the security because they just didn't expect them to go that far.
It's 4 years of them saying "suck it up, he's your president." We've lost. Let's try and burn the Senate down.
But as soon as they did, he called them in, and they came in, and they had it sorted within like the hour.
I don't know what the training of the National Guard is, but I'd imagine it's probably not as good as the British Reserve.
No, but they only had to deal with a bunch of rioters, didn't they?
Yeah, they were probably all pissed.
Most of them weren't armed, so
pissed as well.
They dealt with it pretty quickly. So I honestly can't see with the impeachment what evidence they're going to have, and the only way they're going to successfully impeach him or bring criminal charges to him is if they use political corruption. The fact that they now own the Senate and the House, because they have no evidence against him.
I think it's a waste of time and money.
Yeah, it's because they don't want him to run again.
Well, that's what it is. They don't want him to run again.
Yeah,
he's got will he run in 4 years? I think he'll be getting on a bit. I mean, a lot can happen in 4 years.
If he's alive in 4 years, I don't think the MAGA movement's going anywhere. I think that it'll grow.
I think, in fact, that his sons, Donald Trump Jr., might take it over.
He's gaining quite a following because he's very similar to his dad.
I think that he might take over because Trump ain't gonna last forever.
No.
And it doesn't matter how much money you've got. Is he going senile? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think he
same
is.
as Biden. Who can say?
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I think that he ain't gonna last forever. And in 4 years' time, he might just think, oh, you know what? Fuck it.
I don't think it's worth his time.
Out you go, Donnie Trump Jr.
I don't think it's worth his time. I think he's got a ton of money. He should just retire and chill out. But he loves his country and he thinks he's doing the right thing. And whether you agree if he is doing the right thing or not, he thinks he is. So he's not financially benefiting from it in any way. So I do think that he would want to run again. But
he wants to run again because of his own ego as well. Let's face it. I mean,
yeah, he's definitely ego-driven.
He's a narcissist.
A lot of people are ego-driven.
Of course they are. But
I mean, most of our decisions are made based on our ego.
But is narcissism a trait you want in your commander-in-chief?
All politicians are narcissists.
Aye.
Name one politician that isn't a narcissist.
Corbyn.
He's a massive narcissist. Thinks he's a hero. Got a hero complex. Thinks he's a massive hero.
Diane Abbott.
Don't know who that is.
Labour frontbencher. One of the first black MPs to be a frontbencher, I think, in this country.
Probably some form of narcissist. I think if you want to get into politics, you have to be a little bit of a narcissist.
What are you trying to say?
You're a bit of a narcissist.
Am I?
Yes, definitely.
I am not a narcissist.
You definitely are.
How dare you, sir?
You definitely are.
How dare you?
But yeah, I think
I'm not. I'm just a humble golden god.
I think all. Ignore that coughing. I'm not going to edit that out.
It's the Rona.
Just ignore it. He's got the Rona. Yeah,
it's not the Rona.
I honestly think that all politicians are a little bit egocentrical and a little bit narcissistic, to be fair. I mean, our leaders, Keir Starmer, narcissist, egocentric. Boris, massive narcissist, massive egocentric.
Massive narcissist, massive egocentric, yeah.
Corbyn pretended like he was something he's not, but he was a massive narcissist as well. With a massive ego, to the point where he's not even in power and he still thinks he can call the shots in Labour.
I'll give you that.
So, whether you like it or not, I think you have to be. In order to be a politician, you have to have that drive and that ego to think that you should be in charge. Because you need to think you would do the best job.
I don't think Corbyn had it necessarily. I don't think he he was trying to. I think he was trying to fake it too much.
Probably.
And I think that's why he won. I think he was projecting this air of confidence, but I think it was see-through.
I think
enough, or certainly people saw.
Okay, then in order for you to be a successful politician, you need to at least have an ego
He's still
big
successful.
enough.
He's been in politics for a long time.
to win, then.
Yeah, to win an election.
Yeah. In order to be in a position of high power, we'll say. I know he was the leader of Labour, but in order to be in a position of high power, I think you have to have the ego to think my way is right and I am going to do a better job than everyone else. So
maybe he didn't get that across enough.
No. Yeah, so maybe he wasn't egocentrical enough. Maybe he wasn't narcissistic
because he didn't really want that job. Remember, he was put on the ballot sheet as a.
But he didn't want to let it go, though, did he?
No. Well, no, the people, the party members voted to keep him in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, so we can move on.
Sum it up.
I don't think that they have a case there.
I don't think they will. I think it's speculation.
Well,
I think it's a waste of time.
They've already said pretty much now that they're not going to be able to do it in the next 5 days. So it's looking like they're going to do it afterwards. And can you really impeach a guy that's not a president anymore?
No, you can't impeach someone that isn't. So what does that come to? Criminal charges then?
Yeah.
Which I guess it would. I don't know.
I don't know whether or not it's ceremonial and she just wants to humiliate him one last time, or whether or not they can still impeach him afterwards. But to be fair, they control every aspect, so they make the rules now. Because they control the House, the Senate, so she can change the laws now. Essentially, she could literally be like, right, I want to pass a law where we can impeach previous presidents, and it will pass. I
think they'll just do him as for treason or something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be easier for him.
But now they're saying oh, Trump should pardon himself, so Nancy can't.
I don't think he can
get a.
Yeah, because Nixon would have done it.
I'm pretty sure you can, because
well, Nixon would have done it.
Look at Russia. I mean, Fingy's already done that.
Yeah, that's a very different fucking system.
Putin's already done that, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's a very different system. No, because if you could pardon yourself, Nixon would have pardoned himself. He relied on Ford to give him the pardon. Which same as Trump will rely on Pence.
I think you can pardon yourself, but people are saying, well, if he pardons himself, that's admitting crime.
No, there is that, yeah.
But I think when you've got somebody like Nancy who's so politically corrupt, then if you could pardon yourself, you would, because she's going to try and do everything to try and either make up dirt or find dirt on you.
She really wants him gone.
Yeah, she literally spent 4 years trying to find something and she couldn't find anything. So this is kind of like the perfect excuse to try and find something. But I honestly think that if he can, he may not have a choice. I don't think he will, because he would have done it by now.
Apparently, Trump has asked if he can pardon himself.
Yeah.
Which is concerning if you're a Trump supporter.
It's not really, because like I said, Nancy's going to try and make something up, isn't she?
I didn't like the fact he issued a slew of pardons to some dodgy people in the last days of this presidency.
Who?
He's already signed off on a number of get-out-of-jail-free cards for his most loyal aides, as well as war criminals. Loyal aides implicated in the Ukraine scandal, as well as 4 war criminals who massacred Iraqi civilians in 2007.
The Ukraine scandal's been proven incorrect, though, hasn't it? It's been proven false.
Yeah, but I know he's on about the Iraq thing. It's the Blackwater guys.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they just shot a load of Iraqi civilians.
Can he not pardon himself then?
Apparently not. There's no precedent. Sorry. So its legal validity would ultimately be left up to a court to decide.
Because it's never been done before.
It's never been done because no president's ever had to.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But if I was him, I would. And I know what they say about it's admitting to crime, but I would, just because I think Nancy will make something up.
Some legal experts have argued a president pardoning themselves would be unconstitutional because it violates the idea that no one should act as a judge in their own case.
That's true.
Which I agree with. Yeah, I'll go for that.
I do agree with it. I don't think he'll do it, but if the powers allowed it, then I would, because I think she will find something. I think she'll make something up.
Well, let's hope he's as squeaky clean as he makes out, then, eh?
Well, it doesn't matter even if he's squeaky clean, because she'll just make it up. You can't. It doesn't matter if you're squeaky clean. Yeah, but if you make something up and you control every aspect of government, doesn't matter, does it? When there's a corrupt government, it doesn't matter whether or not you're squeaky clean, does it?
True. So I've been Ben. Thank you very much for listening. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join a cult.
And I've been Shawn. Follow us on Facebook. Sign up to the Patreon. Follow Cutting Through the Bull. We're on Anchor, Spotify, all of those others. So listen to us. Listen to Cutting Through the Bull. Thanks for listening, and don't be a dick. Bye.